This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Byways Around San Francisco Bay by W. E. Hutchinson. Muir Woods. June, to me, is one of the most fascinating months in California, if any of them can be set apart and called more perfect than another, for June is the month of moods. If you are an Easterner, you would abandon your proposed picnic party upon rising in the morning for fear of rain, and, being a tenderfoot, you would be justified, for the clouds, or more properly speaking the high fog, give every indication of a shower. But an old Californian would tell you to take no thought of appearances, and to leave your umbrella and raincoat at home, for this is one of nature's bluffs. By 10 o'clock the sun will be shining brightly, and the fog dispersed under its warm rays. Then pack your picnic lunch, don your khaki suit, and strike out on the trail, while the dew still twinkles on the grass blades like cut diamonds, and the birds are singing their Te Deum to the morning sun. It was on just such a day that we set out on a trip to Muir Woods and the giant sequoias, one of the most beautiful spots in the state. From Mill Valley the climb is a steep one, passing the picturesque ruins of an old mill erected in 1843. We come to a sort of corduroy path, where some enterprising landowner has placed logs across the trail, with the object of facilitating travel. It is not a very decided improvement on nature, however, for the steps are too far apart for comfort. Summer cottages are scattered along the trail, perched on the hillside, and placed in the most advantageous position to gain a view of the bay, or on slightly higher ground where they peek over the tops of the trees into the valley below. After a stiff climb we reach the top of the last range of hills, and begin our descent into the valley, where Muir Woods nestles between the hills at the foot of Mount Tamalpais, in the beautiful Sequoia Canyon. We look away to the right and can see the heavy clouds envelop the summit of the mountain, but the highest stands above the clouds, and the sun touches its stately crest with golden splendor. The forest always has a weird fascination for me, with its soft whisperings, as if the trees were confiding secrets to each other. One can become intimately acquainted with it, and learn to love its quiet solitude, only by living in or near it, and wandering at will through its trackless, leaf-carpeted aisles. Your eyes must be trained to the constant watching. You must learn to be a close observer, to note the flowers, vines, and tangled shrubbery that are seldom mentioned by botanists, and your ear must be tuned to catch the elfin music that is heard within the confines of the forest. You cannot travel a rod under the trees without being watched by the small forest inhabitants, who regard you with suspicion, and peer at you from under decaying log or leafy covert like self-appointed detectives. Muir Woods comprises nearly 300 acres, the principal trees being laurel, fir, oak, redwood, and madrone, of which the giant redwood, sequoia, predominates. The redwoods in Muir Woods are thousands of years old, and rise from 200 to 300 feet in the air. The bark is from 1 to 2 feet in thickness, of a cinnamon color, and the base of the largest trees from 25 to 30 feet in diameter. A clear and cold mountain brook runs through the forest, and ferns grow in rich profusion along its margin, some of them reaching a height of 6 feet. One cannot but note the profound quiet of the forest, as if these mighty trees, that had withstood the storms of centuries, were afraid their secrets might be wrested from them. In some past ages fire has swept through the forest, laying some of these giants low, but other trees have sprung from their charred stumps and rear their straight trunks and green-crowned heads hundreds of feet above the surrounding foliage. These stately trees have grown and flourished like Solomon's temple, with no sound of woodman's axe to mar the quiet solemnity of this primeval forest. One stands in awe in the presence of these wonderful sequoias, the greatest of trees, and we converse in low tones, as if standing in the presence of spirits of bygone ages. Muir Woods was accepted by the United States government as a national monument in 1908 by special proclamation of President Theodore Roosevelt, and was named in honor of John Muir, the celebrated California naturalist. There is no place in California where one can more profitably spend a day in the enjoyment of the wonderful beauties of nature than in this grove of giant redwoods. End of Muir Woods.